If you're taking your RV to Yellowstone, Grand Teton, or Glacier, you don't have time to screw it up. We drove through an early snowstorm that shut down a mountain pass. We got stuck in a thunderstorm that turned a simple hike into a sprint. We hit Glacier and wildfire smoke so thick we lost the views. And we wasted hours every day just driving from our campground to the park. So in this video, we're using our own bad calls to fix your trip. 3 parks, 3 trips. Here's what we do differently, so you don't repeat our mistakes. We're Matt and Debbie. We tow an Alliance Paradigm 310RL fifth wheel with a Ram 3500. We've taken this rig to Yellowstone, Grand Teton, and Glacier on different trips.
This is not a perfect highlight reel. This is what actually happened. The weather that hit us, the roads that closed, the campgrounds that worked, and the choices we would change next time.
Our goal is simple: give you a real-world plan for these parks, so your limited days out west go further than ours did. Let's start with the park that looks easy on paper, but can eat your time fast: Yellowstone. For Yellowstone, we based out of Ponderosa Campground in Cody, Wyoming. Full hookups, easy pull-throughs, nice, clean park. But here's the problem. It took about an hour and 15 minutes just to reach the east entrance, every single day. That's a lot of time in a truck. If we could redo just one thing in Yellowstone, this would be it. Yellowstone still hit hard right away. A massive bison walked down the road, like we were in his way. We spotted a grizzly on a hillside. We watched steam rise from the valley as we drove in. These were the moments that made the long drive feel worth it. But every hour we spent driving from Cody was an hour we weren't on the trails or at the overlooks. Then the weather turned. An early snowstorm rolled through. Sylvan Pass closed. Beartooth Highway was already closed for the season. Our big scenic drive plans, gone. We ended up behind a snowplow on Chief Joseph Scenic Byway. It was beautiful, but it wasn't the plan. This is why your Yellowstone plan needs a backup built in from day one. We still hit the classics: Old Faithful, the main geyser basin, the Artist Paint Pots Trail with the bubbling mud, the Grand Canyon of the Yellowstone, and Artist Point. These are all worth doing. But here's where we messed up. We tried to cram too many stops into each day. We rushed boardwalks, we rushed overlooks. Next time, we'd pick fewer stops and give each one more a real half day. If you only remember one thing for Yellowstone, remember this: less driving, deeper days. Ponderosa Campground in Cody did its job. Full hookups, friendly staff, easy in and out with the fifth wheel. But that distance from the gate meant we lost 2 or 3 hours per day just going back and forth. Over a short trip, that's like throwing away one full day. Here's what we'd do different next time in Yellowstone. 1, we'd book inside the park or as close as possible, even if that means fewer hookups. We stayed in Cody, but there's West Yellowstone and there's Gardner area. That's the north entrance and the west entrance. 2, we'd plan at least one flex day just for weather and road closures. No big plans, just a free day we can move around. 3, we'd pick a small list of must-dos, maybe one geyser area and canyon and one wildlife area. We'd focus on those instead of racing all over the map. And when we finally stayed inside the next park, the whole trip felt different. That was Grand Teton. In Grand Teton, we finally did what we should have done in Yellowstone. We camped inside the park at Grovant Campground. No long commute, just a short drive to those big mountain views. That one change made the whole trip feel calmer. But we still managed to make a few calls we would change. We set the alarm for a pre-dawn run to Schwabacher Landing. The idea was simple: beat the crowds, get the classic sunrise reflection shot. When we got there, the lot was already packed, tripods everywhere. We still got some nice views, but it felt crowded and rushed. Next time, we'd either get there even earlier, pick a quieter sunrise spot, or skip the circus and enjoy sunrise from our own campsite. Because the best part of this park was not chasing the same shot as everyone else. We also hiked up the Hidden Falls and Inspiration Point Trail. The plan was a simple mountain hike with great views. Just past Hidden Falls, dark clouds built up fast. The wind kicked up. Then the rain started. Then hail. We had light layers of thin rain gear. It was not enough. We ended up cold, soaked, and moving fast to get back down. Grand Teton taught us that even summer here means real mountain weather. Next time, we'd pack true rain jackets, one warm layer for every hike, no matter how nice it looks at the trailhead. Grovant itself was a big win. Big sights, great views, wildlife around camp. Close enough to the main sites without that Cody-style commute. The only downside is it can be tough to get a spot, but if you can land one, take it. Next time in Grand Teton, we'd still aim for Grovant or another park in the campground. We'd plan one sunrise at a less famous spot instead of fighting the crowd at Schwabacher. We'd build one full day just for a hike and a storm-safe backup plan. with real rain gear in the pack. And we'd save that national elk refuge for a winter visit when the elk are actually there. And if Grand Teton was about fine-tuning, Glacier was all about getting punched by fire and weather. In Glacier, we split our time between the west side and the east side. Plan was simple: West Glacier first, then cross the park on going to the Sun Road, then base closer to Mini Glacier and on the east side views. But Glacier added its own twist: smoke, storms, and timing. On our first visit, wildfire smoke from out of state rolled into the valley. Views that should have been crystal clear were washed out. The mountains were just shadows. We could still drive the roads and walk the trails, but it felt like we were seeing the park through frosted glass. Next time, if we had any date flexibility, we'd watch fire maps and air quality before locking in Glacier. This is one park where timing can make or break the views. The only problem is campgrounds fill up fast and you have to book early. Going to the Sun Road gave us both sides of Glacier in one day. We started in sunshine, blue sky, big valleys, classic views. As we climbed higher, the clouds got thicker. By the time we hit Logan Pass, it felt like winter. Snow, low visibility. The road actually closed after we came through. That taught us we can't treat this road like a sure thing. Next time, we'd build at least one backup day just in case going to the Sun Road closes. And we'd check the road status every single morning before we plan our route. The east side of Glacier didn't require timed entry passes when we went there the last time. The east side of Glacier felt wilder and more open. Bigger views, less clutter. Mini Glacier was the one area we underplanned. We loved it, but we didn't give it enough time. It deserved a full day or more, and we tried to cram it into less. Next time, we'd add at least one more full day to the east side at Mini Glacier, even if it meant cutting time somewhere else. We also drove the dirt road out to Pole Bridge. Rough, dusty, bumpy. Cool little spot at the end, but the drive is no joke. This is not a casual Sunday cruise. If you go slow and know what you're getting into. Next time, we'd only do Pole Bridge if we had extra time and patience for that road. Here's what we'd change next time in Glacier. We'd shift more days to the east side and to Mini Glacier. We'd build in a flex day just for going to the Sun Road in case it closes. We'd check fire and smoke reports as we got close to our reservation time. We'd keep a proper camera ready, not just a phone, because this is a once-in-a-decade kind of trip. And we'd carry bear spray, not pills, on every single hike. Across all three parks, the same three lessons kept showing up. If we had to boil Yellowstone, Grand Teton, and Glacier down to 3 lessons, it would be this.
1. Do not underestimate drive time. Staying outside the parks sounds easy, but those miles add up and eat your days.
2. Give yourself at least one true flex day per park for weather, road closures, or smoke. You'll use it.
And 3. Pick fewer must-do spots and do them well. Deep days beat rushed checklists.
If you're planning your own trip, drop where you're starting from in the comments. Tell us how many days you have. We'll tell you what we'd keep or cut from your route.
And if you want to see what these actual days look like in real time, we'll link the full Yellowstone and Glacier vlogs on screen.
And in the next couple of weeks, Terlingua, Texas. Same truck, not our usual setup. Let's just say this trip is going to look very different than what you're used to seeing from us.
If you've been to Terlingua, drop your one must-do in the comments. We're building our plan right now.
Thanks for rolling with us. We'll see you in the next one. And remember, life's an adventure. Roll with it.